here talking to CEO James Lyman of MudBots, and we're talking today about the benefits and challenges of university participation and cooperation. So we've got a few questions to ask. First of all, does MudBots get a lot of interest from universities?
Yeah, we do, and it's becoming more and more all the time. They have a natural interest. They have students that are interested in the technology. They have their local governments and many times country interested in the technology. So I think they're getting a lot of questions themselves. They're going online and searching and finding people that are willing to talk, which I think is a little bit of a challenge for them. At least they express it as so. But yeah, we see lots and lots of interest and worldwide.
I know there's lots of different programs to compete in there. Like, is MudBots interested in participating in the Mars NASA Challenge?
We ran into the Mars people and NASA people at World of Concrete almost 2 years ago now, and they were, we were the first anywhere in North America to take actual printers to a show and let people see them and create a lot of interest. We bumped into each other. It's the first time we really came across what Mars, the NASA challenge was, and what one of the challenges is to build habitats on Mars. And so it was very exciting. It was something we wanted to participate in until we understood who was participating already. And for the most part, it was universities, but they didn't have large-scale printers. They had like a 6-arm robot trying to print different types of mud and come up with things. So it was all real small scale. And then they walk into the trade show and they see this very large printer. I mean, our printers go up to 100 foot by 100 foot. As we started to look at it, we really didn't see a way for us to benefit in any other way than just ego, a feather in our hat. Hey, we're working with Mars or NASA and stuff like that. And we didn't like the format. It just felt like everybody else had something to benefit from what we brought to the table, but we really didn't benefit much more than being able to say, oh, we're participating with NASA. So, but that being said, there are other parts of NASA that are working with us right now, and they have something to do with what's going on. But at least we've been able to go to them and say what we want is our intellectual protection. And so they're using it in other divisions to test different things, but it doesn't become public information for the University of Pennsylvania and everybody else. It's like, oh, how'd you do this? How'd you do that? So we just, great project. I like that kind of stuff, but we ended up passing.
Going back to universities rather than NASA, what do you see as the major benefits of university participation?
Oh heavens, they're tremendous. We are participating with universities, and we have them using our printer in their construction management course, because I mean, at least right now, for the most part, at least what I'm being told, that most millennials, they don't want to be in construction. They don't want to be a construction contract manager or whatever else. So, but it's revitalized that whole division of what they're doing. All of a sudden, it's like, oh my gosh, we're going to be printing, 3D printing homes. They're mechatronics engineers. Our printers are being used in that. People are using with robotics and trying to figure out a little more about how we're doing what we do. We got chemical engineers that are creating new mixes, stronger type mixes that will allow for hollow wall construction without traditional rebar or even basalt rebar and stuff like that. So, and then you have your software engineers that are trying to figure out ways and working to how to, when you're using a mix that changes every minute, every second, based on temperature, wind, humidity, all of these factors change. So the software is quite complicated. This isn't just a go down to Harbor Freight and buy yourself a mixer and start pumping it through a 3-axis. So software engineering is super important to this. And then you got your civil engineers that are, hey guys, once everybody's got their stuff figured out, how do we participate in this? How do we learn about the new openness of what we can do design-wise with concrete printing? I mean, it just opens the doors to stuff we've never ever been able to do before. And then mechanical engineers to make the parts and to build the stuff and to run the CNC. So one printer has a huge home at any university, and students will lose their mind. It's something new. It's an exciting technology. It's great for humanity. It's great for affordable housing, Habitat, Red Cross, governors, senators, anybody that's concerned with their people and some of the deplorable conditions a lot live in are going to be excited about this. So the ways for us to benefit are tremendous. And we look at Steve Jobs and what a great business choice that was to take Apple and say, hey, every university in America, you can buy a discount. Let's get them in your schools, because then the students, when they graduate having learned a certain machine. So we see the marketing benefits and the cooperation, joint venture possibilities.
So you mentioned revitalizing construction management courses. Do you see this as a technology that could really, say, open up different areas of human capital, bring people into a construction industry that have previously not been able to participate?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, you can't introduce a new technology. It's a little bit disruptive. Some people have some heartburn about that. Well, you're going to get rid of so many trades, and shoot, yeah. I mean, I guess that Steve Jobs and Bill Gates both had challenges with that. We used to have hundreds of people in rooms doing 10 key, and now we got, our watch can do it 10 times faster. So the way we look at it is it's going to make things a lot more efficient. It's going to improve the quality of life. It's going to allow people to get into the housing market, because most can't. I mean, if you're a clerk at a fast food store or Home Depot or Walmart, the likelihood of you being able to own a home is just not fair. And then you get to places, and you go to Brazil, you go to parts of America, you can go down at different places in Africa, which I've been to. I mean, they're living in cardboard huts. They're living in corrugated, the wind blows it over every single time. So safety, quality of life, just the human goal of doing better. So it's coming. It's not going to go away. It just makes too big of a difference. It allows people to literally build homes for the cost of sand, cement, and lime.
Related to my previous question, what do you see as the specific dangers or pitfalls of working with a university?
Well, I guess the most obvious is I can understand a university's interest, and they're all interested, and so is a senior that wants to do a paper on this and everything else. But what they're asking companies to do, and sometimes, is to literally say, hey, we spent 3 years to develop the technology. We watch stuff fall over every single day as we're trying to get mixes right. We're trying to understand the chemical side of what we were doing. And then the software side and the algorithms to make the software work with the mix. And we know what they want. They want to circumvent 3 years of time and investment, and they want to fast track it without any regard for what that means to a company who's made a 3 to 4 year investment. And it's millions of dollars, and it's 3 years. I know there are some people that look at that, and they look at our printer, and they're like, oh, well, hell, I could build that thing or whatever else. I'm like, okay. We're an automation company. Our USA Botics, we build our own robots. We understand automation too. And trust me, I didn't think I'd still be playing with mud 3 years later, and that our engineers with pieces of paper on the wall were they spent way more time getting dirty every day and put mud on their hands than they did anything else. But I get the motivation. I know why the state wants it. I know why countries want it. Politicians want it. Everybody wants it. But nobody really wants to think about, commerce and business. We make an investment of time and money and go out on the limb and bring a home run for America. We made that investment. We would love to see a return. So the challenge then is when you open up your technology and your printer, and you're letting 100 mechatronics students and structural engineers and all these different people crawl all over your stuff, they're not under non-competes. I mean, and professors and universities have the benefit. They can put 50 engineers on one little task. And so the most obvious, number one, we don't want to give away our technology. We made an investment. We'd love to see a return out of that. We want to help humanity, but we'd like to do it in a way that we still don't just lose everything that we've done for our people and our state and our country. So that's one challenge. Another challenge is a lot of universities, and there's been this ongoing intellectual property fight within universities for years and years now, a couple decades, where the universities and the faculty are fighting. I'm the professor, I saw the vision of putting 50 engineers on this topic. They did it. It was my idea. It belongs to me. And the university is saying, no, 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 no. It belongs to us. You were an employee. They were our students. It belongs to. So this ongoing fight's been going on for decades. But it's also a challenge with business and commerce. So, we have plenty of engineers, but we don't have 500, and the universities do. So what ends up happening is they come, hat in hand, could you please help us? We want to get involved in this. This is great. It's exciting. The governor wants us to do some stuff with it. Everybody wants it. We go and share everything that we've done, our mixes, our formulas, our math, our month-long training program here. We do all of this just to find out that we're end up competing with the university. The university is, thank you for everything you gave us. Now they want to take and throw 50 engineers at this and that and everything else. And next thing you know, they're filing patents that patent us out of the ability to advance our own products. And then everybody's wondering, why don't you want to work with a university? So that's a challenge, and it happens. And they're like, no, we don't want to do that. We just want to be part of the program, and we're doing this for humanitarian reasons. And they're just so many people that call us are just very, very naive, or they don't want to know the truth about the danger of participating with university and professors and their hundreds of students. So
what do you then see as a path forward, or is there a path forward for working with universities?
There is. Working with the University in Arizona, that same thing. They came to us and asked us what, if there was something we could do. And we told them, here's some real huge stumbling blocks we see. And, but they were persistent. I mean, they said, hey, we want you to fly out. We've got a delegation of people that we put together. They put architects, engineers, building department, housing authority, city attorney. They put everybody in one room, flew us out there. We gave them a presentation. They were able to pose questions for about an hour. We answered everything. And when we went, but they were approaching it from a real civic need. We have some huge issues here. Housing is not affordable. People can't afford to stay here after they graduate. So all these really intelligent students that we've helped create are having to leave because they can't afford to be here. It takes us too long to build a house in construction management courses. So seniors don't even get to finish the homes they start, and they never fully get to see anything to fruition. They had great mechatronics programs and stuff. So we sat down and I said, okay, if you were to work with us, how will you protect our intellectual interests? And that took a lot of discussion. We went back and forth. We have in-house counsel here, and they worked in a very cooperative way. They understood what our concerns were, and they respected them, and they set out to bring government as part of the answer in working together and creating, in many cases, new legal documents and positions. I guess what it got down to is if a student really wants to come up to speed in this kind of technology, are you willing to sign a non-compete with the company that's bringing this technology to us? Otherwise, you can hang out and wait for 2 or 3 years, and maybe we can figure all this out on our own. I'm sure we can, a lot of smart people. But where are they going to be 3 years from now versus where are we going to be? And it's just better to work with MudBots, and let's champion the cause, and everybody wins.
Along that line, do you think that most universities believe that they can, build their own machine from scratch?
There's no doubt. They all do, and I wouldn't say they all do, but yeah, I'm pretty certain they believe they have very smart people and very smart students, and they believe in their students, which is great. So Yeah, I guess the question they have to ask is, you know, the Germans are doing this, Chinese are doing this, we're doing this. Lots of countries are recognizing this right now, and we get calls from those countries all the time, but some very well-funded companies kind of went down the same road about 3 years ago. So I guess the question is you have to ask is, what the hell were they working on for 3 years? So, but as people start to consider really what has to happen to get to the commerce point where you actually start selling printers and so forth, I think that people that look at that realistic, they start to realize this is not, you know, as simple as making a little, you know, 3-axis something for my desktop or whatever else. There are some huge issues that we did not anticipate that ended up being very costly and set us back a long time. Just they seemed like simple things in the onset, but for the most part, a lot of universities that we've communicated with, they have a tendency to be a little heavy-handed. Okay, you're going to do it our way. We're a university, and we have laws by the state that we're going to follow, and we're not going to make any changes because of MudBots. And most of them, if they come in a little heavy-handed like that, it means they haven't spent much time online. They don't realize, yeah, there's lots of videos out there, but have you tried to get a hold of any of these companies? I mean, have you found a phone number on their website? Have they answered emails? So a lot of them will go away for, you know, 2 or 3 weeks after somebody just got done berating me, and they come back, you know, with a whole different demeanor once they've realized that, you know, just with a little more respect. This company is actually answering the phone. This company is sharing 10 times the content of anybody in the entire world. This company is communicating. And so it usually isn't that same professor, because he just kind of burnt a bridge big time by being ignorant and heavy-handed. But somebody else from the university will usually call us back and just, we apologize for him. He's a little hot-headed. And then we begin. We start talking, and we find solutions.
How many would you say universities have you been contacted by, and how many of them are you able to start working with, or how many are you able to approve for
I
some kind
could
of
get the
cooperation?
count. I can tell you that we're probably getting you know, a half a dozen to a dozen a week that are calling and inquiring. But I can also tell you that 95% of the time, you know, I try and help them recognize these are some milestone issues that are going to be difficult for you to probably, because what you have is a professor over a department that's excited, and he's fact finding, and so there's a lot of excitement and interest. But as we start to say, here's some challenges I think we're going to find, sometimes it probably feels a little daunting. I mean, just a little bit of the bureaucracy that you would have to deal with in any university in the first place can be a challenge. But when you're really asking for somebody to create new protections that might not be there and stuff like that, so I think a fair amount of them just give up. I can tell you less than 5% of the people we talk to are we able to ever get any place with, but they seem to be people that are higher up in the university structure, and they usually have somebody in the government themselves, especially with foreign universities. Yeah, they have friends in high places. And once they go to them and show them, look, I mean, we could be the first in our country. This university is going to be renowned because of this. Our students are going to want to come here. It's going to help with, you know, it's going to attract a group of people that's pretty enticing to a university. And so when they look at all the benefits of starting now with this company that'll actually answer the phone, or starting 3 years from now when we try and invent it or figure it out ourselves, yeah, I think working with MudBots makes a lot of sense for them.
This last question kind of goes to your underlying motivations for this whole thing, but do you wish you were able to do more? Do you wish you were able to get this technology into more hands?
I do. We're a missionary family. I spent several years in Africa. My daughter spent time in Africa working in Ghana. I have twins that are 15. For years we've been taking them out to Mexico. in South America, and we work in orphanages and stuff. So we're kind of a giving family, I think. And so my interest in getting involved in this in the first place was, oh my gosh, this can really make a difference. I mean, not a little bit of difference. I can do in 2 days what it takes traditional construction a month to a month and a half to do. And that's if everybody shows up on time and all the materials showed up on time. I can do that in 2 days. I can print homes all across the planet basically for, like I said, sand, cement, and lime. And so it's just internal frustration all the time when you know you have something that can make a big difference, and then you got to be squabbling over, well, who gets the patent, and do you get a return on the investment your company has made, and is there a safe way to move forward? And sometimes, it's hard sometimes to go to bed at night and sleep, and you're like, is this what I'm really supposed to be doing, or should I just make everything open source like everybody that isn't in business seems to be as a great idea? It's hard. I want to do more. I believe we're getting to a point where we can do more, and I think as different universities and other parties recognize that in the spirit of cooperation that we can make a difference, and we can make it right now, not 3 years from now. I think people are going to be amazed at what they see in the next year.
All right. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.